Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy Devon Terrell, and welcome to another Help Me Devon tutorial. And today, in this Help Me Devon tutorial, I'll be showing you guys a technique that you could be using to make your mix sound more exciting. Now, this is an interesting trick that I think that you guys are going to absolutely love, and it's really, really easy to do. Check this out. So, let's listen to this song. This is one of my own songs. I'm going to play it for you without the effect, and then I'm going to play it for you with the effect. Without first.
Okay, now who am I to judge? Loyalty over love is the only thing that I trust. Said that you've been in love and I finally had enough. Let's switch it up here, dub. I don't care what nobody say. I'm like Elon and it's a must. Yeah. What I gotta do to turn you to a believer. Okay, now who am I to judge? Loyalty over love is the only thing that I trust. Said that you've been in love and I finally had enough. Let's switch it up here, dub. I don't care what nobody say. I'm like Elon and it's a must. Yeah. What I gotta do to turn you to a believer.
Huge difference. And if I told you that the difference between the original that you heard and the processed one was only about 2.5 dB, you probably wouldn't even believe me, but that's what it was. Please make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. It would really help a lot in helping this channel grow. Now, let's get you to understand what the heck I did. How did we get there? I'm going to show you my trick. So long story short, the trick that I'm using is called harmonic saturation, but not just any harmonic saturation. I'm using harmonic saturation in more of a serial kind of processing, meaning I'm using multiple harmonic saturators to give me that sound and to achieve a certain sound. I'm going to show you basically in depth as far as how I use these particular saturators to really fine tune and give me what I'm looking for from an excitement standpoint from my mix. It also increases the perceived loudness of the entire sound without taking up too much headroom as well. It's a very powerful trick. Check this out. So the first saturator that I'm using is the NLS Bus from Waves. I love the NLS Bus from Waves because it's super easy to use, super simple. All I really do to get more of the effect is turn up the drive here. Now, I don't want to go too in depth as far as all of the bells and whistles of this particular saturator, but just to give you an idea. Spike setting, which you see me click, is modeling an SSL board. Mic is modeling an EMI board, and Nebo is modeling a Neve board. All three of these parameters have different sonic characteristics that you can fine tune or use for your mix. For this particular one, I wound up using the mic setting. The mic setting, I've noticed as far as the NLS Bus is concerned, has a nice bump in like the low mids. So I notice I get a lot of presence out of my low end and it sounds nice and round. So I like to go to this when I need something to really hit hard and bump. I like to go to the mic setting and increase the drive to about 3. That's usually my rule of thumb. Now, granted, I'm not saying be married to this, but that's just where I'm at with it. So right now, I'm going to take off our other saturation plugins, and I'm going to bypass this back and forth without first. Check this out.
Okay, now who am I to judge? Loyalty over love is the only thing that I trust. Said that you've been in love and I finally had enough. Let's switch it up here, dub. I don't care what nobody say. I'm like Elon and it's a must. Yeah. What I gotta do to turn you to a believer. Put you in front of my mind and just follow the leader. Girl, I do it all. I've been training and you know that for you.
You notice a nice pop in those low mids. The vocal even has a little bit more of a oomph onto it, and you notice that kick really starts to come right to that front. I love the saturator. That's the first step as far as how I add, or basically the first line of my harmonic saturation. The next plugin that I use in my harmonic saturation line is one that this thing is the most, I'm not going to lie to you, this is probably one of my favorite top 3 harmonic saturators out there. The black box design, I believe it's called the HG2MS. Let me show you how special this thing is. It's modeled off an actual hardware piece as well. So the reason why I like this one in particular so much is because it has a mid-side control to it. So you can affect the harmonic saturation of the middle information different from the side information. So what that caused me to do is this. I said to myself, well, in the middle, which is my vocals, the bass, the kick and things of that nature, let me add some more aggression to that, right? maybe add saturation to the middle that feels a little bit more aggressive and present. And then the information on the side, I thought to myself, maybe I should add some even order harmonics, which are known to sound a little bit more pleasing and musical and sweet on the ear. So I'm going to sweeten up the side information and make the middle information a little bit more aggressive, and it gives me a really, really cool sound. Check this out. So without first, I'll keep bypassing back and forth. Without first.
Okay, now who am I to judge? Loyalty over love is the only thing that I trust. Said that you've been in love and I finally had enough. Let's switch it up, be a dub. I don't care what nobody say. I'm like Elon and it's a must. Yeah, yeah, yeah. What I gotta do to turn you to a believer. Put you in front of my mind and just follow the leader. Girl, I do it all. I've been training and you know that for you I'm going super saiyan.
I mean, we know that is a night and day sound. You didn't even think it was capable of like having that kind of sonic characteristics to it. I'm going to show you my settings. So long story short, like I told you, my accomplishment, or what I was trying to accomplish, was a more aggressive sound in the middle and then a more pleasing, more elegant sound or sweeter sound on the sides. So what I did was, if you look at these particular buttons, I want you to pay attention to the two primary buttons that we're going to use. One is said pentode and one is triode. Hope I'm saying that correctly, by the way. With the triode, basically this type of saturation adds odd order harmonics, which sounds more aggressive and tends to just sound a little bit more meaner when it comes to saturation. Then on the other side, we had the pentode, which I told you is more of even order harmonics, which basically sounds more musical, more pleasing to the ear. Of course, this is open for discretion, but nonetheless, these are things that people have typically used as far as words are concerned when it comes to even order harmonics versus odd order harmonics. Now, I won't get too deep into those types of things, but just know that when it comes to the triode, it's referring to the odd order harmonics, and when it comes to pentode, it's referring to the even order harmonics. Both of them have two different characteristics, thus why I'm using the aggressive triode for the middle information and the pleasing, very sweet sound, even order harmonics for the side information. You can experiment with this, by the way, as well. So you see that I added a little bit of the triode into the middle information, and I added a little bit of the even order harmonics or the pentode into the side, into the side information, and then the triode in the middle information. My apologies if I said that wrong. Right here, you'll also notice that I turned on this air function, which is insane as far as adding some more air to my middle information. Check this out. I'll bypass the air function on and off without first.
Okay, now who am I to judge? Loyalty over love is the only thing that I trust. Said that you've been in love and I finally had enough. Let's switch it up, be a dub. I don't care what nobody say. I'm like Elon and it's a must. Yeah, yeah, yeah. What I gotta do to turn you to a believer. Put you in front of my mind and just follow the leader. Girl, I do it all. I've been training.
Nice sound to it. Kind of gives me like that tube sound that I get sometimes when I run some of my vocals through tube preamps and things of that nature. Has a really nice sound. It just adds a little bit more clarity to that middle information that I was looking for, thus adding to the excitement. So that's basically what I do for this particular saturator. This is probably obviously one of my favorite saturators, because it allows me to affect the middle information different from the side. I'm sure other saturators also allow that, but in particular, this one, I just love how it does it so well. Okay. The very last plugin in the chain, as far as the saturation is concerned, as far as my serial saturation, is this beautiful Magma saturator from Waves, which is pretty new in as far as the time of the recording of this video. And what they have is this beauty function and this beast function, which is, again, even order harmonics and odd order harmonics. It's interesting that a lot of our saturators are starting to use and differentiate those types of harmonics, which, if you understand or know about them, with the even sounding sweeter, more musical, as they say, and the odd order sounding more aggressive and meaner, now you have an idea of which one you could go for when it comes to these saturators. Cool? Please do your research on this too, by the way, because I won't go too in-depth with that in this video. Okay, so I'm going to bypass this back and forth. You can see my settings right here. I added a little bit of the beauty and then a tad bit of the beast. Check this out without first.
Okay, now who am I to judge? Loyalty over love is the only thing that I trust. Said that you've been in love and I finally had enough. Let's switch it up, be a dub. I don't care what nobody say. I'm like Elon and it's a must. Yeah, yeah, yeah. What I gotta do to turn you to a believer. Put you in front of my mind and just follow the leader. Girl, I do it all. I've been training and you know that for you I'm going super saiyan. Say it loud.
It has such a beautiful saturation sound to it, to my ears. It's so pleasing, and I adore this thing. And these are basically my settings. And the reason why I use it very slightly when it comes to my master bus or my mix bus is because I'm really not trying to eat up so much of my headroom, but really make these very marginal changes that add up to a bigger picture, thus allowing me to kind of have this overall sound that sounds louder, more excited, but I didn't sacrifice so much headroom to achieve this particular thing. So a few things I'll know about this particular saturator is that when it comes to the tone, just know that this is basically determining how you want to EQ the sound before it hits the saturator or after it's the saturator with the post setting. You can look at their manual and kind of get an idea for it. For me personally, I just leave it in a neutral setting, but just know that you can manipulate the sound coming into the actual saturator using the pre or the post for the sound after. I typically, for my particular settings, for what I'm trying to achieve, I have the transformer off. It sounds magical with the transformer, I'll be honest, but I do notice that with the transformer, it does eat up a bit of my headroom. So I tend to turn my transformer off because I don't want so much headroom to be taken away from me in my particular mix. So this is my little secret when using the Magma BB tube in particular. So that is really it. It is a super easy technique, and obviously you heard what it can do as far as giving you just so much more excitement, perceived loudness, and stuff like that. Just from making a few tweaks, messing with the middle information, the side information, and all those types of things. Please make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. Also, make sure you follow us at Help Me Devon on Instagram. Also, make sure you listen to My Audio Nerds podcast every single Wednesday on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, as well as on this channel right here. Please also make sure you go on over and grab our HMD Rosetta EQ at helpmedevon.com. We would really appreciate that. And also make sure you follow our Discord community with a bunch of aspiring engineers like yourself. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and until next time.